What's up, everybody? 360 in the house. I am super excited to be here. I am literally here with the one and only, the great Imran Ali, founder of SPE, Saving Planet Earth. This is our second interview. Imran, how are you doing? I know you just got out of quarantine. I know you just got off the road. You've been traveling. You've been in meetings all day. How are you feeling right now? And thank you, by the way, for being here with us again.
Thank you for inviting me again, and it's always a pleasure to conversate with you. Your enthusiasm, I just love it. And the whole team appreciates it, and the community appreciate it as well. So thank you very much, first of all. I was in quarantine, been out for a few days now, and had my second negative test as well.
Awesome, good to hear.
Good, yeah.
Fantastic.
So I've apparently got a very strong immune system, which is good. I've been traveling a lot. I've been in busy hotels and airports, but still, I'm okay. Yeah. I've got my vaccination as well, so I think that helps.
I love it, man. That's one of those things about you guys and your team. You guys are literally movers and shakers. You're always on the road. It doesn't matter whether you have the quarantine or not. You guys are doing the job. You're not waiting. You're not delaying. You're knocking it out, man. And I love that. So how you love my enthusiasm, I love your due diligence and the way you handle business. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your incredibly busy schedule to do this. And we've got this series, this series of interviews that we're going to be doing. This is just the second one. And for this one right here, we get a lot of, and I was one of them, of the what can I do? Because people see that Save Planet Earth and they're like, yes, and they see the mission. They're like, man, this has global impact, literally, the ability to literally affect the world. And everybody, of course, is like, what can I do? And the danger and the thing I felt myself, because on our last interview, and I fessed up, I confessed, I actually did a whole video on this, where when I had you on before the last interview, you and I were talking back and forth, and you saw me grab a plastic water bottle, and I was drinking from it, and you were like, huh, oh, plastic water bottle. And you were very nice about it, but it first of all, it showed that you're more than just talk. Like this stuff means something and is important, and that you're a 360 guy when it comes to and affecting your environment. And it woke me up. It literally hit me like a hammer. Like I couldn't even, the rest of the interview and the rest of the day, that's all I could think about, and it was a wake-up call, because instead of just asking how can I affect the globe, that starts at home. And the problem is, and the thing is most people would think, well, one person, I'm one person. How is one person, can one person truly affect any change? And that is the dilemma, isn't it, Imran? Isn't that the actual dilemma?
But simply put, it isn't the case. In the mindset of that one individual, he or she may not want to go through the trouble of making such a change, but that's just one person. Imagine in a single neighborhood where there will be dozens of like-minded people like that person. Now multiply those neighborhoods to a district, to a city, to a country, and now you'll be looking at millions of people with that same mindset. Now, if we turn to the other side of that spectrum and focus on people who do intend to make that change and multiply them by a similar amount, that will lead to millions as well. And if one person making change isn't enough to affect the outcome, millions of them certainly would. For those who still might find it hard to believe or adamant on this stance, this may be due to like budgetary constraints or other problems that simply do not give them the option. So if we take an investment approach to be eco-friendly, it will be beneficial in terms of both finance and durability.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely true, and I'm not only do I invest in SPE, and not only do I want to be globally involved, and we're going to be in the Maldives doing that later, but that wake-up call was enough for me to actually look at what I'm doing at home and realize, look, even the small little things at home, they make a difference. And it's like people with voting. There's those people that believe, well, I'm just one person. Well, how many other people are probably thinking the same thing? But if we can change their mindsets, which is the whole reason why I did that confession video, I will use every bit of my influence to keep people from thinking that they can't make a difference, Imran. And so you're already creating change because you know, it's caused me to wake up. It's caused me to do things at home, like even the water bottle thing. You know, a lot of people use faulty logic. Well, I don't want to drink tap water, so I'm going to buy bottled water. So they use the logic of that. Whereas under-counter filtration save you tons and tons of money, and you don't have to use water. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
so can you elaborate on, because by making home changes and by making these things at home, how badly does it affect someone's life? Because I could see people being like, well, now I've got to live different. It's going to affect my schedule and it's going to cost me money. What would you say to that type of logic?
It just depends on how well you adapt to it. And it all boils down to your habits, such as, you know, for example, accidentally opening a window when the air conditioning is turned on. You know, it's a mishap similar to forgetting where your keys are. And once you make yourself aware of these habits, reminding yourself is the routine itself. Other things such as, you know, if you take a look around, if there's sunlight casting through the windows, there's no need for lights to be on. I mean, I've got the curtains open full, but for the sake of this interview, I'll put the lights on just to keep, just so that you can see me. But yeah, but yeah, it's not much is there. But you know, perhaps if you're moving from your bedroom to the living room to watch TV, you know, you should take the time to turn off the lights. And if there's a fan in the bedroom, you know, turn that off as well. If you're done using your PC, for example, you can set it up into sleep mode or turn off the monitor. If you're taking a short break, shut it down entirely. If you're done for the day, I mean, the point of the matter is, if you see something running on electricity, ask yourself if you need it right now, and the rest is based on that choice.
Yeah, interesting. It's like there's so many things that you can do at home, but like it could feel overwhelming. And I would say start with something. You know, start with the water bottle thing, you know, make that change, make it habitual, make it part of your life. Then move on to the, you know, versus here's the scroll of changes, and so all the way to solar panels, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And you know, you could literally go crazy. But I would say to the person, especially the one that doesn't know or is new, you know, just make that tiny change, make that a piece of who you are, and then make the next one, and then make the next one. Versus I must change the whole world all at once, you know, like you guys are pretty much doing.
It's baby steps. You know, start off with the water bottles. But we actually in our merch store, we've got a metal drinks water bottle coming up as well. So things like that. Yeah, just small things like that. Then you've got other changes as your energy consumption, appliances, and it's pretty easy to spot them. Most of these appliances have Energy Star labels on them, or something similar depending on the region. And these labels indicate that the appliances are built under the eco-friendly banner, and they would often cost less as well. So if these labels aren't enough to convince you, the brands also advertise the effectiveness of the products through online catalogs, and you can cross-reference them for the perfect pick. Other stuff like switching utility providers, and
can I ask you about the appliances in your view? Do you see, like, are there major price gaps? Like, if I say I want to be an energy efficient appliance, am I like, what am I doing financially? Am I like having to put out more cash to do that, or do you find it's relatively?
No, it's relatively small, the price difference, and in some cases they're even cheaper, because it's not just the actual rating of the energy, it's the way they are built as well, and most of these companies use a green supply chain, and their suppliers have carbon negative or carbon neutral footprints as well. And these savings do get passed on to the consumer. So they're relatively, you know, similar priced or cheaper. And nowadays you can have different levels of energy.
Yeah.
So
And
Yeah. So so yeah, just look for those Energy Star labels,
yes.
and yeah, and they often do cost less. So
And people think that that's small, that appliance energy consumption, but we're finding out here, and I don't know if you've seen the news reports about the massive heat index in the western portion of the U.S. and the reliance on air conditioners and the worry of blackouts.
yeah.
What can you speak to that, especially as far as utility service providers concerned
Yeah.
about what temperatures people are keeping these high running appliances, air conditioners and stuff running when we have these massive heat indexes. There's a concern there.
So air conditioning units like refrigerators, they emit CFCs, which is chlorofluorocarbons, which is a key component in refrigerating your food and keeping your room cold. They're not very harmful to us, but they are to the ozone layer. By reaching high up into the atmosphere, the CFCs undergo a process called photolyzing.
Right.
The particles created from that process will react to the ozone layer and thus weakening it. Utility service providers, they might have another reason behind the caution. Some of the weaker power grids may wear out too much if too many ACs or air conditioning units are turned on at the same time during the hot weather, which will eventually lead to blackouts, meaning
Yes.
even hotter conditions. So
Well,
instead
even
of
during
using,
the freeze, like we had the freeze here, we had
yeah,
the freeze during the holidays and I'm talking about, like, we had my in-laws' parents come stay with us because
yeah,
and they live in a because they're building as well, so they live in an apartment, and the apartment no heat. Like, this is just from the external effects of our weather, and now the things that they rely on in the grid, it shut down. Literally, the grid shut down in most places. The only reason why mine didn't is because I live near a hospital.
right, okay, so
Our
yeah,
power grid stayed up, but this
yeah,
dependency and the pull from these appliances that are not energy efficient, it's
yeah,
massive, and it is
it,
affecting the grid. It is affecting our world.
definitely, and same thing with light bulbs,
I
like
was
you've
just
got
going to
that.
ask you about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so you've got the incandescent light bulbs,
and the
which
LEDs, right?
and the LEDs, yeah. So so you got the halogen light bulbs. They've been around for such a long time. They have an excellent reputation of light source, and
Yes.
that's the very reason why people are reluctant to let go of it. I guess it's because they're sticking to old is gold concept, and they always they maintain trust in these light bulbs. But the problem is that these kind of light bulbs are a huge waste of
Yes.
energy, and a lot of this energy is released as heat.
Yes.
And on top of that, they've got a relatively shorter lifespan compared to LED light bulbs,
So
which
you're
can last.
buying them again anyway.
Yeah,
So they
yeah,
start
that's right.
out cheaper, but you're buying more of them.
That's right. Yeah, and the LEDs, yeah, they last a lot longer, 10 times
Yeah.
longer. They consume about 50 to 80% less energy.
Yeah.
And if you
Right.
factor in again multiple households that would switch to LEDs, you'll notice a significant difference in the energy load
Yes.
in the local power grid. So
And speaking about light bulbs, that actually lends itself to this idea that a lot of people have short-term vision when it comes to these things. So they want to save money now. They want to buy the cheaper thing now. But in doing so, are they really saving money? Because in the long term, they're buying more of them because, like you just said, they don't last as long. One. So if they just spent a little bit of extra on that better light bulb, the LED or whatever, then in the long run, it's going to last them longer. It's going to use less energy, and they're going to be happier.
that's
They're
right.
going to be.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
So even the logic of save money, they're really not saving money,
they're not
and they're
in the
not
long,
helping the environment.
yeah, in the long term. Yeah, they're not saving money. So it helps with your pocket as well.
So you talked a little bit about. I heard you mention, and I see them on houses all over
Mhm.
Texas. You're starting to see them a lot more now than before, and that's the solar panels.
Yeah.
Can you speak to that, and maybe a little bit, because you always see these government programs. Oh, government solar, it's almost free. Can you speak a little bit to that so people understand what that looks like and how that can help?
Yeah. To explain in the simplest way possible, solar panels absorb sunlight and convert it into energy to power up your house. And also the same mechanics apply to wind turbines and windmills that you can have as well. So compared to a power grid, solar panels can be an independent source of energy. This means that if anything goes wrong with the power grid, a house with solar panels installed will not be affected by it, but only if it's not connected to the power grid in the first place. This can even serve as a backup power supply in case of the said blackouts. And installing it isn't too difficult either. A handyman can just simply install them on the roof. And if you don't have any capabilities for it, I'm sure you can always hire someone to do the job. There's so many people out there. I mean, wind turbines are a bit trickier since they have to be built from the ground up, but solar is a lot easier. And the one benefit that we can all get behind is the low energy cost. The solar panels store solar energy, and that can be used for appliances during the nighttime without reliance on commercially sold electricity. And as I mentioned before, they can be independent, meaning that you still can have a home with working appliances in the event of a blackout, a brownout. So yeah, so solar panel is good.
I like it, and it's I think it's one of those areas that's gray. People don't understand it. They know kind of what it does, but they don't know how, and they don't know how to get into it. Whereas like everybody can get a water filter, everybody can recycle, those are basic simple things. Everybody can turn out the lights, everybody can switch over to LED. Those are simple things. But if I wanted to live the eco-friendly lifestyle, like it was my desire, but I had little know-how, I just don't have I don't know the science. Who do I call? Like, can I get someone, can I consult and have someone literally come to my place and be like, hey, this is what you can do. This is the cost-effective way of doing it. Is that a thing?
Yeah, definitely that is a thing. And that will be up to the respective utility company, along with any company or contractor tasked with making the physical changes to the household. You'll have the option to have them conduct energy audits that would determine the optimum power consumption in your household. And this audit will also help you to choose your preferred type of installation, energy saving, solar, etc., etc. And since the utility company has a better understanding of the situation, this will give you peace of mind before you resort to doing any major changes on your own.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, like I'm actually currently building, we're renting right now. I'm actually currently building, and I already told, you and in my video, based on the discussion we had, I've already done some consulting. Like we literally called a local biologist. Brilliant. And she came out because we have quite a bit of acres. I'm like, hey, do your thing. How can I make my property eco-friendly to the wildlife, to bring in, because we have a lot of the local butterflies that come in. We have a lot of local birds. But like, for example, like my property is not the place you want to plant a weeping willow. A lot of people think, well, you can just plant any tree you want. And that's just not the case. I live in Texas, and I live in a ranch area, and it can be dry. It can be wet, but it can be dry. So if I just went out there and went to Lowe's and or Home Depot, and I just started grabbing trees, that's the wrong thing to do, right? I mean, by having this biologist come out, I'm now able to, she's actually giving us a printout of these are the grasses you want. This is what you want to bring in these butterflies and to make these birds and to bring in these deer, and they're going to survive. They're going to survive.
Yeah, fantastic. It's all about native species, which will attract the right type of wildlife that's used to those, the flora and fauna. It has to work in cohesion, the biodiversity, and it all has to be there. So it's absolutely fantastic that you called this biologist, and best of luck to you if you need any help.
Hey, it's because of it was because of the water bottle wake up call. It's because of the classic water bottle wake up call. And I'm actually going to be doing the same energy wise for our house. Once it's framed, we are bringing in the utility company to come do the energy consumption and that whole thing, so I'm excited about it. Like I'm literally excited about it. I'm digging in myself, and it's great. And I want to confess to one more thing. when I lived in Plano, or excuse me, when I lived in San Antonio, which is very dry, I planted 2 weeping willows in my front yard. And I lived in a 2 weeping willows in my front yard. And I'm gonna tell you right now, they started off fantastic.
Oh yeah,
Within
poor
3 years, they were
willows.
both dead.
Yeah, they both. Yeah, yeah.
They
Well,
didn't have
that's
any
very
water.
sad.
And I
It's very,
still feel bad about it. Like I still feel horrible about it to this day.
yes, yes.
So my intentions were good.
Yeah, 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 no, definitely, definitely. I mean, it's good. I mean, at least you attempted gardening,
Yeah.
and planting trees, gardening, and these are actions that we are, SPE.
Y'all are the
We,
pros.
we appreciate these actions, but obviously, I hope you didn't use any artificially made chemical fertilizers or pesticides.
Cow manure. Cow manure.
Oh, perfect, perfect. Yeah, because you used to talk about the chemical fertilizers, they can end up more harmful than helpful to what you grow.
Yes.
As well as to the people in your vicinity. For example, in Sri Lanka, they were using chemical fertilizer for over 40 years.
Yeah.
So a lot of the people over there have developed kidney problems. So there's a new unit set up by the president to tackle these kidney problems and chemical fertilizer. And now they've completely banned chemical fertilizer importation in Sri Lanka.
Yes.
But there are natural alternatives to this through traditional means. And also you can use these traditional means and natural alternatives for cleaning as well. For example, lime, baking soda, vinegar.
Yeah.
So these are all things that you can do at home, and they're all readily available and a lot cheaper, lower price, and you can be creative as well. You can use otherwise disposable items
Yes.
into decorations for your potted plants or anything else that you want to
And Imran, I have to tell you, the biggest barrier, and I'm speaking for me, the biggest barrier, and the reason why I haven't done this stuff in the past, it's not cost. You know what it is? I'm going to tell you, laziness.
Yeah, that's a routine. Yeah, you just need to adapt that mindset and just get the routine and just keep reminding yourself, and it will just come naturally after a short while. And
I've seen the products. I've seen the natural products, but you grab the 409 or you grab the, because that's what you're used to. That's what you grew up with. It's the old school stuff. And so I grabbed that, and it's laziness because I don't do the homework. I don't do the research. I don't really check out these things when all of these little things make a difference. I want to real quick go back to plastics for just a second. If I wanted to stop plastics, what do I do? Like,
plastic. Yeah, plastic plastic usage has always been a tough challenge, and you can see its impacts almost everywhere, in almost all forms of media as well. Even with the documentaries addressing the dangers of plastic, and we'll admit that it's not an easy thing to get rid of. Fortunately, positive change is happening in some form or another, and we can do our part as well. For example, it's only fair that we eliminate our dependency and our need for plastic first before convincing somebody else. And that's exactly what you decided to do as well. For starters, avoid buying any more plastic products. Ask the local shopkeepers for paper bags if possible. And if not, bring your own. You can bring your own personal bag.
Yes.
And we're actually in the Maldives. We are giving biodegradable bags to the shops, so they don't have to import any plastic bags, and because it's such a fragile country, so we're doing that. Also, taking plastic to the nearest recycle bin or recycle center, or you can again use creativity to turn it into work of art if you've got no choice but to use some form of plastic. There's always simple tutorials online, and you can turn a plastic bottle into something that could even be sold. And I suppose you can say that one man's trash can also end up as his treasure.
That's true.
And it can be difficult to convince someone to drop plastic usage completely, and it takes time for that. But one way you can slowly get them, just to change their minds, is to refer to them to the countless forms of media that display the horrors of plastic ruining the planet. So,
yeah, I'm with you on that. I've actually started.
Yeah.
So, in so many products are sold in plastic.
Yeah.
Peanut butter. I mean, many. Like I've actually started now looking and being like, okay, that's in glass. I'm getting that.
Yeah, it's common.
So
Yeah, that's
and,
right. It's a lot common now to see people use glass water bottles instead of plastic ones. But you just have to be a lot more careful.
Yes.
And there are alternatives out there. You just build research and you can find alternatives. Yeah.
And it also encourages people to buy the top shelf liquor.
Oh.
The stuff that's in glass, because the bottom shelf's all in plastic.
Is that right? Okay.
I had to throw that in there because you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Let's talk about a green thumb, because we talked about trees. Well, what about people with apartments? You know, I have an what if we have an apartment or I have a condo? I don't have the yard space, or I don't have a green thumb. Is there something easy or simple that they could do? Because we know, everyone knows what greenery does to oxygen, does to the air. Everyone knows this, but some people don't have the green thumb. So what would you say to that?
I mean, it's not very difficult. I mean, you get some potted plants. If you've got a balcony, you can put them there indoors as well. Plants are really good for cooling the apartment, and you
need that down here.
Yeah, and also it's for your mindset as well. And there's research that people who've got depression, if they, stand in the middle of a forest or stand next to a tree, that helps with the depression. So there's those kind of things. So it's not very difficult as long as you stick to organic soil. Just keep everything organic, and there's so many indoor plants which don't require much tending to.
Yeah, that are hardy.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, just there's so many out there. I mean, you can just do a quick Google search and look for indoor plants in your region, and just go for it. And
I can personally vouch for the mood that it does bring.
Oh, definitely.
We have several actual trees inside, and hardy plants as well inside our house, and it does in fact lend itself to a vibrant feeling, emotion inside. It literally does. I literally agree completely.
100%. And even myself, when I'm driving, I just love looking at the trees on the side of the highway, and it just automatically just increases your happiness levels.
Yes. Completely agree. So I mean, this is fantastic, and I know you guys are actually working on a video and a document that's really gonna bring all this together. I think you mentioned that. Can you talk about that, when that's gonna be ready? Because I want to push it. I'm gonna get that out there. I'm excited about it because I know it's got a lot of these things we talked about in there, a kind of a guide, so to say.
There's a couple of things. There's a couple of videos. I mean, first of all, we've got the documentary, and so I was halfway shooting that when the curfew and the lockdown happened in the Maldives, and we were unable to get any permits because obviously health and safety comes first. So hopefully I'm going over there as soon as I can, and just resume that documentary. So that's just about the trees and planting the trees and having the meetings with the different ministers in the president's office. We have the environment minister on there. We have the fisheries, the forestry, the agriculture minister. So just interviewing them and just discussing climate change and how it's affecting the Maldives. And it's going to be more than just one documentary. There are several. When I go to the next country, we'll have another documentary for that. And it just carry on. There'll be a series of documentaries. So that's one thing. Another thing is, we are just upgrading our SPE blog. So we will have how-to guides on plants and recycling, the 3 R's: reduce, recycle, reuse, composting as well, renewable energy, solar power. So all of these, carbon credits as well. So we'll have articles on that, videos on that as well. So that's something I'm really looking forward to. I've started writing again.
Love it. Yeah, you're working on a book, aren't you?
Yeah, working on a book as well to complement the documentary and the work that we're doing. I'm thinking of a title.
How does one get a signed copy?
I'll personally come there.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the title. So I want something about crypto in there, something about photosynthesis or cryptosynthesis. I thought about cryptosynthesis. I thought that might be something.
Yeah. It's going to be hard to beat Save Planet Earth. Like, I mean,
yeah,
that's just the brilliant name, man. It's going to be hard to beat that one. So what else you got going on before we conclude the interview? What else you got going on with SPE? Is there anything new you want to discuss? Something about a plastic bottle deposit in Scotland, or you got some other flowing? What do you got for us before we head out?
Yeah, there are these reverse vending machines that you can deposit a plastic bottle in.
Wow.
And you have an account, and it can top up your account with fiat or crypto or SPE coin.
Wow.
So we're actually looking into that at the moment, so that's pretty exciting. Also, I mean, we've got so many other things going on as well. So many things. We've got new team members with blockchain skill sets to work on our carbon credit NFTs. We've got initiatives in over 8 countries. China, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Vietnam, India, just to name a few. And they all have got approval for carbon credits for our offset NFTs. We've also got a new PR company as well that we've taken on board.
Wonderful.
And they'll be releasing articles and marketing assets in the next few days. And as I mentioned before, we're revamping our SPE blog, and we're also going to start to upload to Medium. And like I said, I've started writing a lot more now. With emphasis on. Yeah.
Before I forget, I want to congratulate you guys on your CERTIC audit.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we got a perfect score, which is absolutely amazing. So
it's wonderful.
The dev team has been working really hard on this.
Yeah, I had no doubt. I literally had no doubt. I mean, with all the research that I've done, I had no doubt you guys were going to come out of that with flying colors, man. So, but congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate
congratulations on that, man. Wonderful.
Okay. Other things that we've got going on, just to name a few, we've got registered companies now in the Maldives and Sri Lanka for the nurseries, and also we'll be registering more companies in Spain and other areas around the globe when I get there, or when the team gets there. And these are SPE companies, limited by guarantee.
Yeah.
So it's a route available for organizations which are dedicated to providing services towards humanitarian causes. And the selection of a non-profit based guarantee company offers a number of strategic advantages to the Save Planet Earth namesake. So, for example,
you find the time. It's your team, man. You got a brilliant team.
I've got a fantastic team, and so we got like Dr. Priyantha. He's heading up the solar or the SPE renewable energy division. So he's setting that up as well. And I mean, the reason why we did these companies is because of the broad acceptance of what SPE stands for in terms of environmental safeguards, and the direct government support that we're getting, and affiliations with other similar organizations to increase synergy and networking, just to name these buzzwords. And at the same time, there's no barrier for SPE to engage in all forms of green energy and other initiatives like the solar we mentioned earlier, wind, small scale hydropower, and other carbon negative projects can be undertaken directly.
You talked about landfills last time. I know you guys got your hands in that. Yep. Yeah,
landfills, obviously they're huge for methane emission and greenhouse gas, which is actually worse than carbon dioxide. So capping landfill sites off, mining the landfill, creating compost from them. So I've got, I think, about 3 landfill projects which I'm negotiating right now. The solar power, the first contract, that's almost signed. It's all negotiated. We crossed the T's, dotted the I's.
Beautiful.
That's almost that will be implemented in the next few days. So the project will start.
Yeah, it's funny because every time you guys say you're going to do something, like it gets done quick. Like it literally is quick. I mean, we literally just talked about that, and you guys are already. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like y'all never stop, man. You guys hit the road. You hit your quarantines. I mean, I love it, and it's funny because every time I get off the interview with you, I like, what else can I do in my house? What else can I do? I want to go to the Maldives. You know what else? And that's just it's attractive. It's schooling. I want to be a part of it. But it starts at home.
Of course.
It starts at home.
And that's the first step.
Yeah.
First step. You should be proud of that.
Yeah. How can I be trusted with the big things? I love it, man.
Brilliant.
Absolutely love it.
Other stuff that we've got going on, obviously we have the tree monitoring app.
Yep.
So we now have carbon fund managers and project managers who are advising and helping with calculations for the tree monitoring app. And they're also developing the tree carbon credits for the SPE certified carbon index.
Right.
And as well as growing the global renewable energy portfolio. So that's happening as well. And these are very highly specialized individuals in this industry. They're on top of the game. I mean, one guy even shared the Nobel Peace Prize with Algo. So we'll be adding them to the website as well, and they'll be on hand to answer any questions, and they'll be in some of the AMAs with me as well.
So, man. Cream of the crop, brother.
Definitely. And we're really fortunate to have a lot of in-house expertise. Coupled with the international contacts that we've got, and we're very fortunate to have first pick access of these amazing projects. And I get requests all the time, like every day, about 2 or 3, to do due diligence and feasibility checks and reports on these environmental projects. And we're really selective in which ones we choose to forge ahead with. But there's no shortage of these decent environmental projects in our network. So
and it seems like once you get into one, that branches and that branches,
Oh, definitely. Oh, 100%. Also with regards to the trees, we're around 20,000 trees planted now. And we're going to continue doing this in anger once we have our nurseries in place. We've got location and an agreement almost in place for one in Sri Lanka. It's going to be in the UNESCO World Heritage Site of the Knuckles range. It's like a rainforest. So logistics is not going to be an issue, because the biggest problem is getting the trees, the saplings to the location of planting. And
transportation,
because we cover all those charges as well. And I'll be traveling as soon as I can over to the Maldives to start the nursery over there on one of the islands. We've got choice of 3. So and I've already been approached by the city councils to provide saplings. So I think we will go way beyond the 1 million in Maldives alone. And I'm hoping that you will join me there.
I'm gonna be there.
I'll take you sustainable pole and line fishing.
I'm ready, man.
We could do like a Bear Grylls style survival on an inhabited island. And I will plant trees and ocean beach cleanups.
I can't wait to see it, man. I'm so stoked. You guys are rocking it. I mean, I literally this thing just gets bigger and bigger. And the other thing is, like, you guys have the contacts. Like, you guys have friends in high places. That's what I was telling everybody at the beginning. I'm like, these guys, they got contacts in government. They got contacts in the environmental industry. Like, you guys are already plugged in. Those contacts are already working out for you. It's why when you say you're going to do something, like, the paperwork's like almost done. Like, I mean, I love it.
Most of these contracts, these agreements, these MOUs, the memorandum of understanding, this documentation I've been doing this for the past over a decade. So it's really quick for me to, with our environmental lawyers, our environment impact assessment team,
Yes.
we can, really, do it quick.
Yeah.
It's fast action here, and SPE is relentless.
I know.
And we're not giving up the fight against climate change and
Oh
global
man.
warming. And there's a lot more stuff coming up as well. I mean, we need a complete new video just for the stuff that we're doing in the background. There's so much to list.
Let's just encourage everybody right now, to join us. I that personal video I put out and all the stuff you're putting out, join us. Start at home. Start with a small thing. If you think it's difficult, start with one thing. Get that notch and then add another, but it starts at home. Everybody is a player in this, whether they like it or not. You're either a player for it or you're a player against it. That is the honest truth, right? I mean, that is the truth.
Definitely. And in addition to this, just to everything that we talked about, check out DIY articles and videos on attempting a creative spin on, your household material. Keep yourself updated on environmental news around the world. And, we have to remember that any form of bad climate change is something that would impact us all. And if you find something that warrants attention for your friends, family, and community, have them involved as well. And it's always a positive reinforcement when word spreads around and everyone finds a little way of their own into a humanitarian mission to save the planet.
You don't have to look for the impact. The negative impact, it's in the news every day. Literally, I see a news article every day on the negative impact. So you don't have to look for it. You're gonna find it. Everybody's got to get involved, man. Imran, man, thank you so much for joining me again. We're gonna do this again in a couple of weeks. Next time Imran is here, or whoever he sends from Save Planet Earth, we are going to actually discuss the next big topic item for my followers and viewers, and that is the tokenomics of Save Planet Earth. So we will cover that in depth next time. Imran, love having you. Thank you so much for blessing us with your presence.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. I'm really looking forward to the next one. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend. Take care. Have a good night and get some sleep.
All the best. After the football,
get some fun and relaxation in, brother.
Brilliant. Thank you. Take care. All the best. Bye-bye.